Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Elisa Lutteral. I'm an artist working in textiles, primarily sculptures, and recent graduate from Parsons, as Ragnar said. And I'm going to show a project which is Topographies of Delusional Immortality, which I did in a residency in Germany at Emma Creative Center. So I applied to this residency with a very specific project involving working with textiles and metal through electroplating. And what I was wanting to investigate was the idea of how power is often represented in the topographies of landscapes through monuments and pedestals and structures which oftentimes involve materials that are challenging the life expectancy of a material and a life expectancy of a person, and how these are oftentimes represented through metal. And I started this process through drawing and sketches and understanding forms and shapes. And these were my initial studies. So I started working with different biodegradable materials. I was interested in the fact that metal or material that established permanence would be combined with something ephemeral and with a longer life. And what would happen if we were to see these objects in 50 years, what would remain, and how are we constructing the world we're constructing right now? So I also started taking pictures to study forms and structures and how I would build these. And I started creating volume and form through knitted, using the domestic knitting machine. And I used the double bed knitting machine. So kind of like how we create socks, but I wanted to kind of create structures of buildings that would in some way become fluid. So here you can see some examples. And I really wanted to achieve this through the use of a very thin yarn. In this case, I used linen, but I needed to also create the structures of the molds for this spaces to hold in the bath. So I'm showing some pictures of how this process happened. This was one piece that was made with a discarded fabrics, which I got, mostly clothes. So in this case, I would cut the fabric. I would, in this case, quilt it, sewing, and then I would wax it. I would add wax to protect the fabric in the bath solution. So electroplating, basically, you can see the bath in the image below, is how oftentimes it's used in automotive industry or the jewelry industry to add properties of one metal to, say, another metal. And in this case, I applied it to textiles. And this is done in this electroplating solution or bath. And this is done by using electricity. So anodes transfer from the original source of metal, which you could use recycled metal, and they transfer in the bath through these circuits, which I constructed, sewing them into the sculptures. And they have to be in the bath 3 to 4 days, varies according, and sometimes more time. But for it to transfer in textiles, which textiles are not conductive, I added graphite. So I sprayed graphite, or I hand painted this graphite into sculptures. So I also worked with other materials. So I did use structures in metal and used laser soldering. And also in some cases, I used cardboard as a base. I was interested in the dichotomy of what is actually valuable, and in this alchemy of materials, like what is a material hierarchy that we have today.